Sorry about that. I had an interruption. I forgot to turn it on airplane mode and got a phone call. So I'm gonna light some more sage. Been on the phone a little while. Kind of clear the air a little bit. All right, so where we left off at was right over here. So the South Node influencer, or those who were leading people down a path of incoherence, are traveling soon. 10 of Pentacles is your wealth. It's what you got coming into, a family, security, and blessings are yours. These masculines here that were competing with you, these two masculines, you know what they're doing. They are at a distance. They're not balanced. They don't have any harmony inside of them. And they're this bisexual, trying to figure themselves out energy. They're being told to stay in their own lane. We've got a Knight of Wands here with their 4 buddies. Unfinished business, not willing to settle down or be responsible. The abundant, limitless being has let them go to make room for the new beginning on its way to you now. These people are trolling you. Or it could just be that you have let the trolls go. But they could definitely be trolling you. That came up last night. Was it last night or the night before when it came up? And then just as I was finishing the reading, there was a smash outside, a big old accident. After I was talking about people trolling the house and such. So we've got the Hierophant here, Most High God, driving those whose values are just too different from their own. These traditional family, love, honest, integrity, respect, morals, values. So those whose values are all about money are losing connection to the collective field of awareness, this consciousness. They're going to be at a distance. This could be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Unicorn. Excuse me. They could be at a distance from this unicorn, or kept at a distance from the special people, the high priestesses, the wholesome sovereign beings, the suns and the stars, the chosen ones. They've lost control of the field of consciousness. They've lost control of the minds of humanity, of the special creators and creatresses. The high priestess is here. Very aware, sharing knowledge regarding those who are addicted to stealing other people's destiny. Their cup is empty. They're in denial, or they're being denied. Patience, just a few more things come to those who wait. Or patience regarding this cult leader. They're in denial. There's a cult leader that's in denial. Their cup is empty. Have patience. There's a cult leader present. They want the destiny of this high priestess. God says no. He's not making deals with the snake this time. This isn't a partial reset. This is a full-on reset. No more deals. No more deals. No more snacking on sovereign beings. They're getting their 9 of Cups life of luxury. This sovereign divine feminine is. There's a religious masculine here reminiscing with his broho, galho, whatever they are, about the inside jokes. They were tempted by this snake. They're untrustworthy. They're not getting a honeymoon. They're not snacking on anybody. No more snacking. No more feeding your wives, your intimate encounters. No more snacking on their energy. No more snacking on any of that. God said this is the end of their relationship with batteries. And that's what they view the high priestess, sovereign, wholesome beings as. They're in temperance reversed energy. Balance up there is in reverse because they could not successfully martyr this wholesome, sovereign, divine high priestess. She was not a third party hoe bag. They broke their promises. She may have made a vow, but they broke their promise and tried to martyr her, and they were unsuccessful because she is a being of love. Great, big love. Here's a confession. There's an announcement. If you enjoy your health, move on, because you will be presented with challenges by this guardian shadow demon. There's protection here. She's protected from the challenges that you have to offer her. This could be somebody who was trauma bonded to this high priestess, and that's this sovereign being, and that's how they take care of themselves, by vampiring her energy, her life, love bombing and gaslighting others, wearing her energy, posing as a high priestess, connected to God. But with God is this person's enemy. They are being warned about this legend, empath, transmitter, receiver, holy divine prophetess of God. They created rumors and stories regarding this star seed. It wasn't true. They did the very least to gain the very most, and it's being announced that this narcissist is feral. They have no morals, they have no ethics, they have no self-control. All they have is access to might that they should not have access to. They should not have access to this might, this world-destroying technology. This is a feral narcissist. They don't have any self-control, man. They are reliant on to siphoning the essence, to vampiring this divine feminine in order to bring balance to their own self. Freaking fashion witch. This is a simp doing the most for somebody who carries the least. They're trying to get the land back. This is a person of privilege who thinks the oracle is a bitch. So they don't like the oracle. These ones attack prophets, prophetesses, oracles, seers, telepaths, psychics, high priestesses, hierophants, emperors, empresses, sovereign beings. They attack them. And they snack on them. And that's why they said they're going to sacrifice all of the chosen ones if God doesn't give him back this high priestess. This high priestess was their wish come true. Divine Mother said they lost their wish come true when they came for you. God's not making any deals. This is a complete reset. This is not a partial reset. It's complete. If they wish to destroy their environment that they'll be stuck in, then that's what they'll do. They've never been good stewards of anything. Resistance. They have to give back billions of dollars. The land and the money has already been claimed by God in the ethers, and now here in the 3D, they have to give it back. They're resisting. The Emperor is here delivering justice. He is reunited with his love, and they are committed to seeing all the good things in life. They're not stuck in this crazy drama. And they're divorcing this tyrant. They're not stuck in this crazy drama. They're divorcing that tyrant, and that tyrant can go F themselves. All their little buddies. Because love wins. Love is reunited. The emperor is delivering justice. And they said, what did they say? They said it was resolutely and masterfully. They were complaining that his father taught him everything. And he's not a person to take shortcuts or make deals with shadow demons for cheap thrills or teeny profits. He's all in with God, with love. Whoa. So the lovers are here. This connection is here, and they're dealing with this devil here. They're dealing with this devil. They're bringing balance to this situation, stability, rational thinking and feeling. We're having a new chapter. Love has escaped this triggered water sign who is a negative influence. Oh, they're so triggered. Triggered water sign, negative influence. You have escaped. And you don't need to know all the answers. You're being guided by the Most High God into a Ten of Cups reunion that was prophesied. These ones are gossiping. They did not appreciate the beauty of you. They could be struggling. They may have been friends that caused some kind of struggle for you. They're traveling soon. They'll no longer be able to be an influence in the world. They're being displaced. They're being kicked out. They're no longer going to be an influence in this realm. They're no longer going to teach the children how to do this bro-ho, humping, gang raping competition with high priestess sovereign women. Go away. And God's going to deal with this religious person himself. He's going to deal with everybody himself. He's dealing with it. And they're going to spit into the wind over and over and over again. They can't help themselves because they're caught up in an illusion. They're caught up in an illusion, and they're being told to stay in their own lane. This is mirror magicians or whatever. They're out there dressing up in the energy of divine feminine, effing around, pretending that they are her, while hiding her away in a world of suffering and siphoning everything out of her. Laughing at how clever you are. So clever. So cruel. So clever. But they were tempted by the snake, and they can't feed anymore. They're not able to feed anymore. Because they're untrustworthy. There's no honeymoon. Honeymoon is over. The honeymoon is over. They wanted war. They wanted freaking war with God. This was talked about in Revelations. How humanity was going to be misled. They were going to be led down the wrong path. They weren't going to choose correctly. The mother has been buried this whole time, treated like a freaking prostitute, energetically, physically, raped, red rum left out in the street, laughed about, while these guys weren't around, thinking themselves so freaking mighty, these shadow demons. Yeah. Emperor is delivering justice. He is reunited with his love. They are both committed to love. They're divorcing out this religious shadow demon whatever whose labor is backfiring on them, or at least just not effective. They could not catch these two in a crazy rabbit hole, and they're told to go F themselves. Whatever they're doing, this magic, whatever labor they're putting effort into is they're waterproof. It's not sticking. It's not going to affect them in any way. The lovers are there, unified in their connection. And they're treating this devil with rational thinking. You know, they want you afraid. They want to talk about stuff, you know, these threats and how they're going to do it. And it's worse than a scary movie. Twilight Zone even. But you're rational, you know? And I mean, if those who have been under extreme duress, like this high priestess, like this emperor, and when it's constant, you know, it becomes normal. You become kind of desensitized, and then you just start watching it, and you start watching yourself, and you wonder, why? This is the entertainment of this realm. We're going in a new direction. They're told to stay in their lane. You're going in a new direction. You're taking your 10 of Pentacles away from this competition. You know exactly what you're doing. You're going far, far away from these people who are not balanced. They've been hurting you in order to manage themselves, and that's just not going to happen anymore. You're going in a new direction. They're told to stay in their lane. They're not welcome on your path. But you do have a Knight of Wands here who's being impulsive and fearless. And he's got 4 buddies here that are into this group entertainment thing. There's unfinished business here. They weren't willing to settle down or be responsible. And this abundant, limitless being has let go of the troll. They think there's unfinished business. They want to force their way into this woman's energy. They want to force their way into her limitless abundance. They're not paying attention to the warnings. They're not heeding the warnings. They're not heeding the warnings. They've been told to leave you alone. It's been forbidden. They're not heeding the warnings. They would rather sacrifice every living thing in this world because they're dead. They don't care. They're dead. The living beings are nothing more than a battery. To them. But God said this is the end of their relationship with batteries. God's not making any deals. When there is the extinction event, all souls and spirits shall be reallocated to their frequency match. Everybody has made a choice. Everybody has been evaluated. God knows the hearts of the people, and he's not letting his people go. No matter what kind of fit or how much damage this man boy produces. It just doesn't matter. It's really over this time. So we've got distance air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, unicorn, abundance. So the Hierophant is here, driving those whose values are too different out of the imagination, the collective field of consciousness. They're going at a distance. It could be that they are an air sign. They got to keep their distance from the abundance, from the wealth, from the intellectual property, from all of that belongs to these special people. These ones have been calling some of you a myth. You were supposed to be extinct. God raised you up at this particular time from some of the deepest depths. These people haven't seen you in centuries. They hardly thought about you, even though they've been snacking on you and spending your wealth in the spirit realm. That's over. There's no more of that. They can make all the threats they want. It just doesn't matter. And they're mad. We got mimicry, but it came out in the sideways. So High Priestess is here dealing with those who are addicted to stealing the destiny of others. Their cup is empty and they're in denial. She's using patience with this cult leader, mimicker. Now, because of sideways, it could very well be upside down. This cult leader failed to mimic this High Priestess. They're addicted to stealing the destinies of High Priestesses. Perhaps this one, they may have done it before, many times even, but they're being denied this time. They're in denial. God's not giving her back. God's not giving her back. He said no. She's getting her life of luxury. She's going to enjoy that which she produces and creates. She's going to enjoy the fruits of her labor. These religious people are not going to snack on her services and her energy anymore. These mean people were tempted by the snake, and there's no more honeymoon. They're untrustworthy. They don't get any more contracts. This is the end of their relationship with batteries because they have been feeding them to this shadow demon. In the sacred space. In the sacred space. No more honeymoon. They're untrustworthy. They were tempted by the snake. They're not having no marriage in the sacred space. They're untrustworthy. There's not going to be any snacking on these unions and their sexual energy. There's not going to be any luring them into sin or failure. They're ghosts. They're dead people. They're literally dead people. And the only way that they get to pretend that they're alive is if they siphon the energy and the life force out of the living. They're dead people. Demons. They're going to have to move on because there's just going to be too many challenges from your protectors. You are balanced here. And you are soaring. You're moving away. You're flying high above those who create mischief for you, the scavengers who've been battling with you. They could be making preparations to communicate with you. They may try to get with you somewhere in the community and dominate you. But they're going to be exposed here because you're survival. You survived everything that they've given to you. You're going to survive whatever they tried to give to you. We've got a teamwork from a distance. They're being released. They're going to be alone because they only cared about themselves. You're going to be able to play. And it could be that they were horse playing around in the past with their gifts. You brought insight to it by surviving this. Could have been a risk. They might try to pose a risk with their trickery, or maybe you have shed light on that. We've got nature and observation. Maybe you are Mother Nature, you know. Somebody of great value did refer to the mother as goddess of time. You may have actually dove so freaking deep into this shadow demon's territory and stayed there a while, gathered a whole bunch of information. You could be Mother Earth, the Mother Nature, High Priestess, sovereign, wholesome being who brought balance to the world. And these people, entities, brought nothing but imbalance to it. There is wrath in the territory. God is bringing wrath. It's already been delivered in the ethers, and now it will be here. Be prepared. Anticipate it. Make a commitment to being anticipating it. It's there. It could be that those who were committed to an empty nest, those who were committed to destroying family trees, bloodlines, are in grief. Their upside down perspective to bring upheaval to everybody's life while distracting them only brought them growth. They didn't realize that planting them deep, deep, deep into the night shadows, that they would be lifted so high and bring up all those seeds, all that information, everything that they were doing in those deep, deep, deep hidden places. They're afraid. They're afraid because the High Priestess, sovereign, wholesome woman who is here in union with this emperor, protected by God, protected from those who are curious to get into their house, protected. Heart bond, routine, routinely lucky, routinely lucky. The anomalies get their freedom. I'm going to go ahead and leave that one here. I'm going to marry these two portions of the video together. I hope that this brings clarity to something you already intuitively knew. This is a war of the dead, the shadow demon. The shadow demon, these religious people who are dedicated to feeding light-bearing beings, Christed beings, to the dead people. See, the dead people, they need to eat, right? They need to feed, and they feed on Christed beings, sovereign, light-filled beings. And this sovereign being, wholesome, sweetheart, High Priestess, went way, she like dove deep. And who brought her back? Who brought her back? The prodigal son and the father. found her and brought her back with all that knowledge that she was sent in to learn. Learn as much as you can about as much as you can. Go deep into it and freaking find information. And now there's going to be war. Somebody in this seen realm hates their enemy. And that would be God, who has taken back the land, who has taken back the money. These ones have to give back billions of dollars. They have to give back all that land, and they're having anxiety. They have to surrender their need to control it, and they're pissed. They don't want to. Rather than surrender their need to control it, they would rather turn it into a wasteland. And unfortunately for them, that might be their future if that's what they choose to do with it. Of course, I don't know what God's going to do with dead people. I don't know. There was something about a lifetime. Like they may owe this high priestess an entire lifetime because of how many centuries they jacked her around like this. And a lifetime may be according to God's time, could be eternal. Or they'll get one chance to make it right. I don't know.